Okay, so this unit is on electricity, and it looks a little scary, because it's electricity. And again, a lot of people get scared when they see electricity units because it's like you can't really handle it, so it's something that you can't touch and manipulate, so it's a little tough, but it's not very hard. This one's actually one of the easier units because the formula you'll be using for the majority of the unit is actually very similar to the gravity unit. So if you had an easy time with a gravity unit, then hey, it's pretty much you're rehashing the same thing. So I want to show you guys both the formulas just to kind of show you how similar they are. So the one on the left is the force of gravity, and the one on the right is the electrostatic force, the formula you'll be using for this unit. Okay, so notice they're both forces. So remember, when you're dealing with forces, the unit is newtons, right? So the force of gravity is in newtons, and the electrostatic force is also going to be in newtons. Okay. In both formulas, you're going to have a constant. Okay. So in the left formula, you have the gravitational constant. I'm not going to say what that is because that's not important for this one. But nevertheless, the constant's there. In the right formula, you'll have the electrostatic constant, right? So you have constants in here, and then the other one you have a constant. And by now, hopefully you know that when something's a constant, that means it's consistent and it doesn't change. Okay, so you're never going to have a formula where they say, or a question where they say, hey, find the constant in this question, because the constant's always going to be the same. So you're never going to have to find k, just like you would never have to find g. Okay. The next two numbers are very similar. They're not the same, but they're similar as in it's going to deal with two different objects. So remember, in gravity, it was the mass of one object and the mass of the other object. Well, in electricity, it's going to be the charge of one object versus the charge of the second object, right? So Q in this case is going to be our charge, okay? So that'll usually be given. And then the bottom one is the exact same. It's just the distance squared. So notice these formulas are, with the exception of switching out a few things, they're almost the same. So if you're familiar, if you thought the gravity unit was easy, well, this one's going to be pretty easy too. Like with every other thing you're doing in physics when you're dealing with formulas, you're typically going to be given every unit except for one variable, which is going to be the force, the charges, one of the charges or both, or the distance, and then you'll just find it. This is all going to be your basic Algebra 1 skills. You're dealing with, essentially you're just dealing with fractions. Something as simple as maybe x equals 3 times 5 times 5 over 2 squared, right? Same thing. Same kind of formulas. The x is going to be in different positions. Sometimes you have to rearrange it. But nevertheless, it's a pretty simple problem, okay? So that's it. That's the electricity unit. I don't think it's going to be too hard for anybody. If you guys got questions, again, please ask. And that's all. There's your intro. Hopefully that got you guys started.